You can tell by the tunage. It is time for the wake-up crawl.
I love that.
The wake-up crawl.
What?
The wake-up crawl?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. One of our listeners this morning, because we were talking in the 6 o'clock hour about Secret Wine Society being in, and he said, yeah, on those mornings when you guys are drinking in the morning, I refer to it as the wake-up crawl. And we both went, Zach, you're brilliant. So we've adopted it.
I love it. I'm going to start using it.
Yeah.
The wake-up crawl.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on the wake-up crawl this morning.
I love it.
It's Robert and Don from the Secret Wine Society in lovely Oakland, Oregon. Have they got the bridge finally 2 lanes open?
Yes.
Yes. They're still kind of completing it, but yeah, it's open.
What are they do? Are they bringing in like some art school to work on this thing? What's the deal?
It's hard to say, but it was supposed to be done the 23rd of March, but they're slowly getting there. But yes, you can get over it. So,
Okay. And, of course, the exit that you take if you're traveling south from Eugene to get into Oakland is exit
140.
All right. So take exit 140, go into downtown.
And if you're coming north, it's 138.
All right. Let's make it even more complicated.
Yeah, okay.
That's fine.
140.
Okay. So then you go into little downtown Oakland there, and you're right by kind of the park.
There's a park across the street, and right next to us is the Oakland Tavern. But if you come into town, we're right there. You can't miss it, right on the left.
And you've got a sign that says
The Secret Wine Society.
And an old pickup truck parked beside it.
Correct. Well, you have a good memory, yes.
Thank you. I remember these things. And it's in a historic building that actually was made famous by a kind of a cult film, Fire in the Sky.
It kind of reminds me of your poster there, the alien encounter.
Right. And it was about an abduction, the movie's about an alien abduction that ostensibly is based on a true story.
Yeah, when you were in, did I show you the photographs that they left?
Yeah.
The time capsule? Yeah, they look like rockers, with the long hair. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, then your building and your space there at the Secret Wine Society was used as, I think, the cafe in the movie.
Right, Ray's Cafe, correct.
Right. So, all right. So, and if you're new to the show, Secret Wine Society has an amazing library of wines that you can purchase, drink, and you can go in there and sit and have a glass of wine, and you bring a special guest.
Yeah, so this is Mel Murray.
Hi, Mel.
Was one of the first people to join the wine club, and unfortunately, he had his own seat at the bar. It was reserved, but he has since moved to California, and he's up visiting, and he's been listening to your show for quite a while, and so we brought him on.
And because he moved down to the California area, we refer to him as one of the 15 emeritus. So
there you go.
It was frying pan to fire situation.
Yeah. So you got out of Oregon to escape Oregon, and then you went to California. What were you thinking, Mel? What's wrong with you, Mel?
Hey, I had to leave the big house and join my son and my grandsons, where I could be tended to and taken care of in grand style.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome.
That's fair.
And
And
Mel,
I can ship his wine, so we're good.
Mel, tell everybody how you listen to KPNW each and every morning.
I roll over in bed and I yell at Alexa to turn on KPNW 1120.
How awesome is that?
She obeys.
Well, thank you for that, Mel. We appreciate
He
it.
doesn't want to miss a single rant, so he's on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and when you guys came down the hall, I was having
I caught that.
an
I'm like,
off-air rant. It was sort of like,
I was hoping it was off air. I'm like, man, maybe they changed the rules on us here. Yeah, so Mel's a skilled interlocutor, so this should be a good conversation. The first wine we have is a Beaujolais. So this is Domaine Pral 2022. And what's nice about this wine, it's about $26, inexpensive, nice expression, but they've put it in concrete for 8 months.
So it's aged in concrete.
Correct.
As opposed to
That's what gives it that mineral tinge. So you get a little bit of red berries. You get maybe some pomegranate, but you get that nice mineral layer in there. It's a beautiful wine.
That's
Beaujolais.
so good.
So Gary was saying before we came on that he really likes it. He's getting into wine. So the reason he likes it is because the tannins in this grape are low.
Mm-hmm.
But also that's why the prices never go super high, because you can't really age them for decades. So you have some of these Burgundies that are super expensive, some of the Bordeaux's. You can't age these that long. There's nobody flipping it at an auction 10 years later to just drive the prices up. It's not a collectible wine per se. Now, they will go several years, but they're not going to go like 10 or 20. So they're great value. Beaujolais, the most expensive one we've ever had in the store is probably like $50
Yeah.
for the best of the best. But yeah.
So not meant to be aged or flipped. It's meant to be drank.
Drink now or
Drink.
within, if it's a really good version. So they have, you've heard of Grand Cru and all these terms. They don't have that system. They just call it Cru, C-R-U. They have 10 areas which are considered the best. And they're chosen because they're granitic hillsides that are very infertile. The Gamay grape will literally grow like a weed. In fact, during the Black Plague, all the Pinot Noir vines would die. There's nobody there to tend to them. And these things just kept going. So you don't want too many berries. You don't want this giant production. They're always trying to reduce yields to get better quality grapes. So this thing will keep going. So you want to put it on poor soil. So if you look at one of these maps in the atlas, all the red area is granite. That's where all these sites are. So if you get one of those, and I'll bring one in, you'll see that it's got more structure to it, and they will go for several years.
By the way, you got some more of that? This is
Yeah.
this is delicious. I tell you
This
what,
is the
this
first
is really
time.
good.
All right.
I know. This is
Here
my
we
first
go.
time.
It is
I'm
good. Well,
asking for more.
it's a good place to explore, and actually, you could get to the point where all of those 10 croup, there's a little overlap, but you could tell the difference. Some of them are like more powerful. Some of them are just more feminine. Let's say. I mean, you can start to tell them apart.
This is how I'm kicking off the 420 weekend right
Don't
here.
they
with
usually
we
drink
go.
this with the Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, yeah, there is this tradition of this Beaujolais Nouveau, but it's kind of overblown. It's not going to be done in concrete. It's all fruity. It's a very simple wine. You usually chill it. That's not really the exciting part. That's more marketing.
Yeah.
The cru stuff is what you want, or a very solid entry level like this. A cru Beaujolais would be in the 40 range. That's the stuff that gets up into the 40 to 50. But for a nice entry level Beaujolais, this is fantastically done. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
loving
it's
it.
nice. I like it.
Everyone's drinking, so nobody's talking. All right.
Yeah.
Now,
So
I
we're
did
drinking.
pour your next one early.
Oh, you poured my
You
next
don't-
one early?
Well, and the reason I did it's a Barolo, so it's a Nebbiolo. And the reason I did that is
Oh.
because
Of course.
it needed a little bit of air, even though it's a 2018. So I'm going to put that in front of you.
All
We'll
right.
pour it for everybody, and then I'll tell you all about it.
Okay. And what is the name of what is the name of that again?
So the
Beaujolais?
yeah,
No,
the producer. Oh, you're talking the second one?
yeah, what
The Barolo.
Yeah. So Barolo is a town in Piedmont, Italy.
Okay.
And around that town, there's a delimited area where they grow grapes. They grow a lot of grapes there, but if it's called Barolo, it's going to be 100% Nebbiolo.
I like the way that smells.
It's beautiful. Now, you'll notice, too, that it's not super dark in the glass. It has two pigments in it, which oxidize out pretty rapidly. And so it loses color pretty quickly, but it doesn't lose any of the tannin, and it's a high tannin grape, which it needs air, it needs time in bottle, and it could use some food. It's a powerful wine. Mm-hmm. But the nose,
Boy, that has got. I mean, yeah, that's as I like to say, it's loud.
yeah, no, it's
That's loud.
so this is about the earliest you'd want to drink one. It's an 18. So let's say this is the Terzetto is the name of the winery. They're 2018 Barolo, and this is actually a decent price point. It's in the 40s. Most Barolos are towards 50 to 60 and up. And they were saying here that this one,
It needs bacon.
or the braised meats, stuff like that, mushroom dishes. This spent 3
Say
years.
whatever you want. I want bacon with this.
Bacon's really good.
Yeah.
3 years in 20% new oak, and then 3 months in bottle before it's released. So, and it still needs time once it hits your shelf. Like, this is the earliest you'd want to drink it. So you figure like 7 years out, 6 years out, if it's a good quality one, which this is.
What do you think, Mel?
I think early, 5 o'clock in the morning is good for me.
Right when you roll over in bed, give me that glass of wine.
Alexa, give me a glass of this.
Put on 11:20 and deliver the wine bedside.
So somebody, Alexa needs to get on that whole, being a wine garçon or bartender thing. You need to get
that
on
would be
that.
winter, yes.
Yeah. You may be on to something. You could be a billionaire by the end of the year. You figure out how that one works.
If I could, I would.
Have a little wine dispenser in your Alexa that pours you a glass.
So, the name recognition of the Nebbiolo grape is not high here because it doesn't really grow anywhere except Piedmont. At least not well. They've tried to do it. It just doesn't have the magic. And so people that drink domestic wines, and also you have to pony up for a decent one. If it says no Nebbiolo on the label, is it the real deal? And if you sell somebody one that is, and let's say it's $60, you're like, I don't know if I like it. Do I want to spend that? But it's one of those areas that's going to have a base price. It's never going to be a $20 bottle. That's a fact.
It's kind of has an earthy quality about it.
Yep.
Little hint of maybe like I'm thinking ginger maybe a little bit.
Well, I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I will leave the rest
That's
of this
what Tab
bottle.
was saying. Like there's a little bit hint of the ginger.
Yeah.
I will leave the rest of this bottle. Just put the cork in it and take it home and let it get air for the rest of the day. It'll taste great, even better tonight.
Yeah.
In fact, most of the wine pros, when they drink a Barolo, if it's not super old, they open it in the morning and decant it all day and have it for dinner, like hours. It softens it and it brings out more aromatics on the nose. It changes the wine completely. We are drinking this right out, and I did kind of open it a little early, but you need really hours to make it really shine.
You need to wear this as a perfume, Don.
It is
It's
this is very
yeah,
perfumed. Now,
yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
yesterday.
It was
I
not.
pulled a glass
Yeah.
out of this bottle yesterday. It was not perfume, but that little bit of air that got into the bottle
It
changed
started
it.
to open up.
Huh.
What did she say? Red what? Ginger and red vine?
Yeah.
Are you talking like licorice
Licorice?
red vine? Oh God, no! I don't taste that.
No, not taste it, smell it.
Yeah, it smells like that, of course.
Wait, okay.
Oh,
You're saying red licorice?
Yeah.
Go back in here.
smells like red licorice. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Just give me a reason to
kinda
taste
does.
it again.
Kind of does.
Taste like it, smell it.
But it's got a lovely nose now compared to even yesterday.
Yeah.
And like I used the machine on it, so not a lot of air got in, just a little bit. But if you drink this later tonight, it's going to be on fire.
It needs to have bacon or ham. Right. A nice.
Oh, that is really good. It smells.
It's really
great.
tasty.
Yeah.
That's nice. And I can tell you that this is not a style I don't think that I would normally like, but this is different. This is really good.
Yeah, they have a certain. It'll end up in after your palate's changing as you try more stuff, and you'll end up loving Nebbiolo more and more and more. It literally is the king of grapes.
All right, we got to take a break. We're with the Secret Wine Society. You're listening to the Wake Up Crawl, 1120 KPNW and 93.7 FM, streaming at kpnw.com. Secret Wine Society in the studio. Good morning. You're listening to the Wake Up Crawl. And Robert, Don, and they brought along special guest Mel. You were an artist or are an artist? Is that what I'm hearing?
Amateur, but credible.
Amateur but credible.
Credible artist. That's
Credible.
An
That's
interesting term.
yeah. That's a nice way of
Not
putting it.
incredible, but
I like
That's
that.
what you meant to say. Incredible. No, there's actually, like I told you, there's some like he brings stuff in. He's like, take this. I'm like, this is awesome. It's on my wall. So there's like a couple things that you'll see when you come down. I'll point it out to you.
Okay. Including what? A bottle of sake?
Well, yeah. So
watercolor?
Get K-Con, he has a still life done in, what is that? It's a watercolor, right?
that one is, I believe that's pastel.
It's pastel.
I
It
think
is
that's a
pastel.
pastel.
So it's a pastel of a Get K-Con bottle with some sake cups, and it looks really good. It was perfect for the wall. He's like, do you want this? I'm like, yeah.
By the way, we had a listener write in this morning. Any chance of a secret soy sauce society? Differences in Japanese sauces?
Well, I'm big into soy sauce, and I'm going to say this. When you go to these Asian stores and you've got the regular mass market soy sauces, And then you'll see these bottles wrapped in fancy paper with these Japanese characters. It's tied shut. Buy it. They're all good.
Okay.
They're double the price, but it's worth every penny if you love soy sauce. I mean, if you're using
Well,
it,
they use the same kind of mold and process that they use for
they do.
sake.
I think it's the aging and how they're aging it after the fact, because the mass production stuff is super basic. I'll bring some in, we'll taste them side by side.
I remember reading an article, and I don't remember how I came
Yeah.
across it, about
It's
this whole art of soy sauce.
Yeah, it's a thing, and there is a huge difference in quality. But I love salt, and they get these citrus notes in there. I don't know how they do it, but it's way different than the basic stuff you get at the store.
You're going
But it
to
is
lead
double the
into
price.
Secret Soy Society?
The Secret Soy Society,
I like it.
not the Secret Soy Boy Society.
No.
The Secret Soy
Soy.
Sauce Society.
I
Okay,
like it.
this next wine is epic. So
It is.
it is. So this is a Super Tuscan. And the reason it's called that, there's an area in Tuscany along the coast. This is the coast off of Tuscany. That's called the Tyrrhenian Sea. The coast is the Maremma coast, which just means maritime land. It used to be a swamp. There was malaria there. It was not the best wine area. And they drained it and started planting grapes, but it doesn't have the qualities. There's too much humidity. It just doesn't have the qualities for Sangiovese and the other indigenous varietals. So they started planting Bordeaux varietals. And in 1978, Decanter magazine had a wine called Sasakia, which was made from Bordeaux varietals. So you're talking Petit Verdot, Cab, Sauv, Merlot, those types of grapes. And it beat all of these Bordeaux wines. They couldn't believe it. So because they weren't using the original indigenous grapes allowed under the law, they could only call it Tuscan IGT, which is like the lowest level. They weren't allowed to use anything else. In other words, like if you want to say Chianti, it has to have some XYZ. But they didn't have that, so they're like, you can't use these nicer, like appellation names or whatever. So, but after that event in 78, they became hugely popular. That wine was actually called Sasakia, which is means rocky hill or slope. And that's kind of like if you look at parts of Bordeaux, they have a lot of this gravelly rock. But that wine now goes for like $300 a bottle. They became world famous. So what this wine is, so let's talk about it real quick. So this is the 2021 Podere Sapaio is the winery. Volpolo is the bottling.
Okay.
And this is a blend of, this is 70% Cab Sauv, 15 Merlot, and 15 Petit Verdot, which is why it's got those purple flowers on the nose and that beautiful, vibrant electric color. But one thing that area so Bolgheri is that area on the coast. It's in the Maremma coast. Bolgheri is a town. You get a lot of what Bordeaux offers, but that freshness and the acidity, that's what you get from these wines. Bordeaux does not have this freshness and just vibrant electric acidity. This wine is a smoking deal. Because like I said, this would be considered a Super Tuscan, but you're not paying $300 a bottle. And I can't bring one on because nobody will give me one.
Nobody will give you a Super Tuscan?
No, not the expensive stuff. But if you look up Sasakia, Tignanello, some of these others, Ornellaia, I might be able to bring an Ornellaia on.
So what is the cost for a bottle of this?
This is probably like $58 now.
That's a really good wine.
Considering you're getting into quality Super Tuscan and those prices are crazy, it's a deal. It's all relative. People are like, well, how much should a bottle cost? Well, that depends. I got a pre-sale for some Burgundies. They wanted $26.50 my cost for a 6-pack of some red Burgundy. That's a lot of money. Is it worth it, right? That's my cost, right? So for 6 bottles. So what do I got to charge a customer? It's crazy. But anyway, what do you guys think of this wine, Mel?
Actually, I love it. This is very tasty. Much better than the box wines that you found me in initially. No, this
Well, I think it's a little step up from box. But if this was in a
Is it
box,
true
I'd be
about
drinking
box
it.
wine? You drink the wine and they give you the box to puke in, or is that false?
I've never fallen that low, but so I can't say.
I've never scraped the bottom of the barrel, so to speak, to that extent.
The
I
future,
love it.
maybe, but yeah. So, but anyway, what you want to get out of this is you get a little bit graphite, but the nose with like the purple fruits and flowers, it's crazy good. This wine is always really, really nice.
It is really good.
Yeah,
This could go along with this. This could go along with a lot of different foods.
Yes, and now you're talking a much bigger wine. Like the Nebbiolo is bigger, but this one's a lot brighter than Nebbiolo, more on the purple fruit side, not the red fruit side. And this will age a while. I mean, this wine could go a decade easy. Well, so could the Nebbiolo, but they're going to be different. But look how dark it is compared to that Nebbiolo. Now,
I think of the three of them, this one's my favorite.
yeah. Now remember, I said that Nebbiolo, two of the pigments in there oxidize readily. This one doesn't have. It's not. This grape is not, or the grapes that they're using aren't high in those pigments, so they maintain. They don't oxidize out, so you get this deep, rich, beautiful purple color.
Gary, what do you think of this one?
Very dry. It might be one of your more drier ones that you've ever brought in.
Well, technically all of these are dry, but the reason you're sensing that it's more dry,
Probably the tannin.
it's the tannin, which is why you like the Beaujolais more, because you're getting into wine, and that's the first thing
Right.
is people just getting in don't like tannins and acid, especially the tannin. That's all going to go away. Like normally you would drink this with food, but that whole tannin thing, and that's why Malbec's so popular, because if they grow it at like low altitude in Argentina, low acid, plush, soft, like easy tannins, that's why they sell millions of bottles of it. But you graduate from that over time when you start getting the key to learning this is repetition with many different wines. Taste everything. You're not going to like it all, but your palate is building in the background. Your brain, you don't need to overthink it. There are maps, there's this and that. But you can't learn this by reading.
All right,
You
we
have
got
to
40
taste.
seconds real quick. Give out your website, your location, all that good stuff.
Yeah, secretwinesociety.com. We're at 110 Southeast 1st Street in Oakland, Oregon, and exit 140. We love to have you guys. We're closed Monday, Tuesdays. Most other days we open at noon, closed at 7, Wednesday, Thursday, and 8 o'clock Friday, Saturday.
Mel, thanks for coming in this morning.
Yeah, great to meet you, Mel.
Thank you for including me.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Have
And
a great
he'll be
week.
listening in the future at the wake up crawl.
Yeah, I love that. Have a great weekend. We're out. Enjoy the sunshine this weekend. Back on Monday.
Cheers, everyone.
Goodbye.
Cheers.
Have a good
Bye.
Friday.
Cheers.